Barkstrom,
Here.
Michelle Drobnik. Is she online? Not online.
Is she online?
She is.
Yes, she is online. Okay.
Okay.
Doug Erickson,
Here.
Jason Hastings. He online.
We do have one caller that's unidentified, so that may be him. *6, if you're online, Jason.
He did say that he was going to attend.
Correct. Bob Kopish, Larry Mivas,
Here.
and Rachel Hoffman is excused.
Okay, today we're going to have some hearings, and if you want to speak on the agenda item for a hearing, if you would sign up, anybody in the room to do that, to speak at the particular, when we come to that particular agenda item. And when you go to the podium, when you're called upon, you should be speaking to the board, and you'll be allowed 3 minutes to express yourself. And this is not a debate. It's only to allow comments to the board. So I hope everybody signed up for that. So is there any public comments? And if you want to speak to anything that's other than an agenda item, now will be the time to do that. So if there's anybody in the room or online to express yourself in public comments, now would be the time to do that. *6 to unmute yourself. Okay, hearing none. Is there any communications from any board member that wishes to speak on any topic? No.
Alan, before we move on, we did have one or two more people join. Supervisor Hastings, if you're online, would you like to identify yourself? *6 to unmute.
Hey, Nick, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, Jason's like 3 minutes out. He got stalled.
Okay, thank you for the update.
You bet.
Have him call him when you're soon.
He's going to be.
He's coming in person, correct, Tammy?
Oh, he's coming in person? Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to open up the public hearings. And the first is a conditional, the time is 9:03. The first hearing is a conditional use permit filed by Jim and Julie Probst for the purpose of renting a home on a short-term basis on property located within part of the southern half of the northwest one quarter, the northwest one quarter of the northwest one quarter, and government lot 3, section 11, Township 39 North, Range 3 East, Town of Fifield, with a fire number of W818, State Highway 70.
Letters of notification were sent to Adam and Jennifer Bauer, David Nelson, Rhinewall Revocable Living Trust, William Holzem, Alexander Anderson, George Gunderson, Robert Oxiuta, James and Julie Probst, Arthur James Risch, John and Mary Klima, Thomas and Jane Pfeiffer, and Angela Richardson with the Town of Fifield.
We received one letter of correspondence back stating, I have no objection as for Jim and Julie Probst renting to anyone. Signed, Robert Oxiuta.
Who was that again, Evan?
Robert, I'm going to butcher, Oksiuta.
All right. So nothing unfavorable as far as what was communicated to you?
The only letter we got was the one letter of support.
Okay. Any other communications or comments on that particular conditional use permit? If not, I'll declare the hearing closed. And we'll move on to agenda item number 4, decision on the conditional use permit filed by Jim and Julie Probst.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Erickson to approve.
I'll second.
Seconded by Michelle. Any further discussion?
Question for you, Bob. Is there anything
We don't have anything out of the ordinary. It's got
ordinary conditions and everything you find?
the standard conditions, yeah, that would apply. We've got, it's got a 4-bedroom conventional that we've got the inspection that was done in October on.
All good.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, there's a,
Just a clarification too, Evan, with this one, is it a shared driveway? Do we have to do anything special with that?
We should,
Because if you look at the
they own that parcel to the west,
the
the
south
driveway
here.
goes through.
Well, I'm talking about this one though, because like the neighbors, do you have to do anything? Or do they come in on a different? I just don't, they might come in here.
I guess I'd be more concerned if the neighbors, if the parcel went through the neighbors to get to this one, but it actually goes through this one to get to the neighbors.
Okay,
The
just-
neighbors actually have the easement across these people's, not vice versa, so I'd be less concerned there.
okay. We have a motion to approve and a second on the floor. We'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Okay, use permit is approved. Time is 9:07.
Is there a packet I could have, Meredith?
The clerk just left the room.
You're okay.
I need a packet.
Oh, okay. I'll wait for her to come back.
Thank you.
We'll open up the conditional use permit application filed by Daniel Trelka for the purpose of renting a home on a short-term basis on property located within part of the northwest quarter of the northeast 1/4 of section 30, township 38 north, range 2 east, town of Worcester, with a fire number of N10498 Sailor Lake Road.
Letters of notification were sent to Fund Lake New LLC, care of Orbis Inc., Gerald and Michelle Yerzak, Jasunas Irrevocable Trust, Robert and Ann Prismarek, USA Land, Daniel and Sandra Trelka, Alan Weber, Jasunas Moorish Temple of America, MIR 8, Nathan Browernick, Ronald and Rosemary Spatz, Vitus and Harmony Jasunas, Christopher and Lauren Weber, Jeffrey Trowernecht, Nicole Kafta, Rosemary Spatz, Daniel and Sandra, oops, I already said that, sorry, the Trelkas, and Allie Mathis with the town of Worcester.
We did not receive anything back on this one.
Anybody else wish to comment that's online for this application? If not, I'll declare the hearing closed. The time is 9:09. And we'll move to agenda item number 6, decision on conditional use permit filed by Daniel Trelka.
Before we do that, Nick, which, okay, yeah, put that up there. I can't tell off this, which is theirs. 124-122-604. Is that one right in the middle there? It's got the creek
Correct.
going through it?
Creeks going through it, several fields. Should be what, east of Sailor Lake Road?
Yeah, it's about not quite half a mile north of H. H is just on the south, just south of this property a little ways.
Those online are asking you to use your mic, by the way. Use your microphone.
Oh, I'm not really saying anything important.
I know.
That's okay. I got my mic on. Where's the access from then? Down below?
No, it's off of Sailor Lake Road right there.
This road right.
Okay, right there. So it's right on that road?
Right on Sailor Lake.
Okay.
If you zoom in, you can see right there's the place.
Yeah, okay.
Here's the-
Yeah.
It was built in 18. It's got a 2-bedroom conventional that had a reconnect done in 2018.
Okay, thank you. I'll move to approve.
Move to approve Bob Kopish.
I'll second again.
Seconded by Michelle Drubnik.
Evan, same thing? No
Yeah,
condition?
same thing, standard condition.
Okay, all right.
Any further discussion? We have a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Permit is approved. We move on. Time then was 9:11. And we'll open up the hearing for the conditional use permit. This is agenda item number 7, filed by Daniel and Tina Minen for the purpose of renting a home on a short-term basis on property located within part of Government Lot 4, Section 26, Township 40 North, Range 3 East, Town of Fifield, with a fire number of N14978, Point Road.
Letters of notification were sent to Carol Bernacki, Dave Thompson, Aaron Marsh, James and Jennifer Peglow, Kimberly Ann Chess, Lyndon Schroeder, Nancy Taylor, Tara Anderson, Tyler Nathan Ramker, Daniel and Tina Minen, Charles and Jennifer Hash, Deborah Nelson, Guy Schroeder, Jeffrey Barabaz, Kimberly Fields Living Trust, Marcy Ortel Keller, Robert Barabaz, Thomas Fields, William and Laura Weber, Daniel Buntrock, Douglas and Lori Walter, James and Christy Beyer, Kathleen Scotellero, Coos Family Revocable Trust, Michelle Lee Roski Mankey, Stephen Keller, Tracy Jean Roseski, and Angela Richardson, Town of Fifield.
We did receive several letters back on this one. The first one reads, I am against short-term rentals. This brings many strangers to the neighborhood, resulting in increased noise from larger boats and parties. Some renters do not have the same consideration for neighboring homes, and it references something about the roads, but it's written sloppy. That's signed Nancy Taylor.
Who lives in Lake Tomahawk.
I have to look at the mailing address. Yeah, Lake Tomahawk. Next one reads opposed. Too many new people already. I don't understand that don't understand, respect, and follow our PLC's rules, boating safety, fishing, boat regulations, stop aquatic hitchhikers. We do not want to be mini Minocqua. Other folks will follow D&T Minen's request. There is no stopping them. And that one is signed something Mass MACC. Max Up signed. I can't, it's just an X on the name. It says 50 years of ownership in their family.
Is that person on the list?
It's impossible to read the name that's signed on this.
So it could be from anybody.
They got a mailing, they printed off the mailing.
Move on to the next one.
Yeah. Next one states, I am opposed to this. I'm opposed to the permit for short-term property rentals. Although this may help out the owner financially, it causes issues to the landowners that live by. Noise, camper usage, improper usage of boats, piers, etc. This is a very quiet area, but if it continues to allow short-term rentals, it will not be. I think it's a bad idea. At what point it becomes a party area? We have owned this property for 30+ years. We have a vested interest in the area. Renters don't. Signed, Kathleen Scottolara. Next one reads, my concerns are the same as the fall of 2024. Allowing a conditional use permit on a private road where the dwellings are close together in a remote area would be disruptful and alter the culture of the neighborhood. Additional traffic is a safety concern, as is allowing transient guests that have no vested interest in our community or the land. That one's signed Kimberly Chess. Next one reads, I'm opposed to the permit of short-term rental at N14978 Point Road. I'm concerned about noise levels and lack of concern by renters of properties in the area. That one's signed Berg, last name of Berg. Right? Don't you say that's Bird? Berg? I don't think so. The next one states, I'm against short-term rentals in a residential area. Signed James Byer.
What was that? James who?
James Byer.
Buyer?
Yep. And that's the last of the letters.
Is there any, from your perspective, Evan, can you see any conditions that should be imposed on this property?
Aside from the standard conditioning, see how this one's got.
Is your mic on?
It's back off, I'm sorry. Aside from our standard conditions, no, they can't have campers, they can't have, they've got to stay off the road as far as parking.
Not yet.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, any other comments on this permit application? Online, *6 to unmute.
Hi, this is Tina Minen.
Okay,
hear
we
me?
hear you. We hear you.
Hi, I just want to plead my case with this. We are having a property management company help us with this. They're vetting all of our renters, and we are going to have rules in place for our renters where there's quiet time after 10:30, and we do have plenty of parking off-road.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other comments? Okay, we'll declare the hearing closed at 9:19. And we'll move on to the decision. Now I'll ask you again if there's any motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve, but just to make the statement, as of now, the way the law is, our hands are tied and we do need to approve these. We have no choice. Hearing all the concerns, but at this time, the law does not allow us to do anything different.
Okay, motion to approve by Doug Erickson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Bob Kopish. Now some comments.
So the road accessing this as a private road. One option for a condition would be parking shall be off the easement road. I mean, that would alleviate some of those concerns that somebody might block the easement road for the other people along that road.
We just heard that there was adequate parking.
Yeah,
from the owner?
that's what they said, yeah. And I was there this summer because they installed a new 4-bedroom conventional septic this summer, so I was on the property this summer when they installed that. I guess it was this fall.
Evan, don't we have something in our normal conditions about parking?
It should be off-street, so technically this isn't a public road. It's a private road, that's why I thought that might want to be addressed, because this isn't,
Maybe we need to add that to our conditions.
or in
Going forward.
situations where it is
Yeah.
a private road, you just add that as a condition. That's why I suggested that. Normally, it's not terribly common that they're on a private road. Normally they're along a public road. So we referenced off-street parking in the standard conditions, whereas this one's a private road. We could reinforce that and just add that as a condition to here where parking shall be off that easement road.
Need that as a separate motion.
You would amend your motion to approve with the condition to not allow parking on Point Road. I would just name the road in this situation because it's
Yeah.
a private drive that's named part.
Is that all right with you, Doug?
Yeah, I will make an amendment.
I'll second it.
Okay.
So I can vote on the amendment.
Any other comments before we vote?
Was that Hastings second?
No, Bob was.
Bob, okay,
Bob
thanks.
Kopish here. Okay. Okay, we'll vote on the application. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. You didn't vote this on, well, no, that was included in the
No,
original motion.
No, so we have an original motion to approve by Erickson
Okay.
Kopish. We've had amended motion by Erickson Kopish. So we need to vote on the amendment and
All
then
right,
on
we'll
the
vote on the amendment to the application. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, now we'll vote on the original motion to approve as amended. Any other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You there, Michelle?
I did. I said aye.
Okay. The time is 9:23. We'll move on to land division, agenda item number 9, which is a land division filed by Dennis Jagodinski to create one new lot, Town of Elk.
Mike.
Sorry. The lot sizes are well above the minimum lot size, one 4.3 acre lot, one 4.39. They've got, one has 200 and some feet of frontage on, it says the Elk River, it's really Sioux Lake, more so than the Elk River. It's on the inlet where the Elk River runs into Sioux Lake. There's no issues. The CSM does have to go to the state yet. We haven't received that from the DOA, so this would be looking for an approval contingent on DOA approval.
Okay, so this is a standard, pretty much standard land division?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Doug Erickson,
Contingent on DOA approval.
seconded
I'll second.
by Jason Hastings. Any comments? Hearing none. All those in favor of the land division filed by Dennis Jagodinski signify by saying aye. Opposed? Land division is approved. Agenda item number 10, land division filed by Ryan Ellers to create one new lot, Town of Fayfield.
So this one, you get a copy in your packet as well. The lot number 1, you can see, meets the minimum lot size requirement of 20,000 square feet within the shoreline district, and it's got over 100 feet of frontage on Pike Lake.
100 feet?
Over 100. It's got 149.55. See it in the CSM.
So that 150 went away, didn't it?
Correct. Minimum lot size within the shoreline district is 20,000 square feet with 100 feet of frontage.
100
along
feet
the
of
lake.
frontage,
Yep.
so that's almost 150 feet.
Yep. Lot 2 is 2.59 acres, so that means minimum lot size. They've got a shared easement access providing 66 feet of easement to the public road, so it meets that requirement. This one also needs to go through the DOA for approval, so we'd be looking for a motion to approve.
Okay, motion to
contingent
approve.
on DOA approval.
Motion to approve, please.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Doug Erickson to approve. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Michelle Drobnik. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Land division is approved. Agenda item number 11, land division filed by Beth Izowski to create 3 lots, town of Worcester.
So this one's a 3-lot CSM out of East Oberg Lake Road. These are off-water lots, 1.07 acres, 1.09 acres, and 1.61 acres. So they do have a 1 acre minimum lot size requirement. And they all have over 40 feet of frontage on a public road. They don't exceed the 4-to-1 length to width ratio, so I don't see any issues with this one. This one has already been through the DOA for approval, and we received correspondence back from Plat Review saying that the CSM meets the requirements of statute 236.
Okay, so
So
standard land division.
yes, that has already, it's a CSM that's already been through the approval.
I'm looking for a motion to approve. Motion by Bob Kopish,
I'll second.
seconded by Michelle Drobnik. Any further discussion? We'll vote on the issue. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, land division is approved. Agenda item number 12. Land division filed by Tim Matson on behalf of Leslie Dodge to create 1 new lot, town of Worcester.
So this CSM was in your packet as well. If you look at the second page of the CSM, it better describes, the first page just describes the location. The second page actually describes where the lots are. It's technically a 3-lot CSM, but they're really only creating 1 new lot because lot 3, if you look at that, is divided by a public road. So as far as our subdivision control ordinance is concerned, that's a standalone lot in itself. So they're really only creating 1 new lot. On the south side, they're taking that chunk that was 1 lot and creating a 2.37 acre lot and a 15.45 acre lot. So it'd be a 1 lot CSM. So they're creating 1 new lot. And it's non-shoreline, so it technically did not need to be done via CSM. So it does not have to go through the DOA for approval. So this is just a standard land division that
Okay,
just be approved at this committee, and there's no issues with it.
Looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Michelle to approve, seconded by Bob Kopish. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Land division is approved.
Just a comment, Evan, in the future, when we do these, can you somehow keep each property kind of separate in the packet? So we're not trying to go through pages and trying to figure out what side of what pages with what piece of property, because I'm having trouble finding all this stuff.
Okay,
in
that
this
should be
packet.
noted by the clerk too. Got that?
You know, if it,
Yeah.
it's like
So
the
in land
first one, have the
divisions?
first one actually separate and don't copy on the other backside that rolls into the next one.
So
Keep them separate so we can keep them
we can make
separate
it,
as we're going through it.
yeah, we can make it so it always, on the front page is always the start of one. So like, there's an
This is
intentional
very
blank.
difficult trying to
There's
figure
a
out
blank
what's with what,
page.
because a lot of the stuff from the surveyor doesn't have a name on it, so I don't know what's what.
Sure.
That's my fault. He sent them to me separately, so I can take care of that in
Okay,
printing.
all right.
'Cause he sent them
Somehow,
separate
because it's
files.
very confusing.
Duly
I'm
noted.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I sent a bunch of PDF. I sent like 5 different PDFs and then you combined them and I said it wasn't an issue, but I can understand where the confusion would arise.
That's why I hasn't been saying much, because I've been looking through all
Or
this.
put a note to maybe on them, right, agenda item 8 on each page that would correlate to agenda item
But
8.
just have the name up on top
Something
or
like that.
something, yeah.
That's a good
Okay,
idea.
thank you.
Yeah.
So far with the new clerk, so far so good, so. Understandable. It can be confusing.
And there's normally not this many. Yeah.
All right, agenda item number 13, final plat filed by Secluded Land Company LLC to create a county plat, Crane Lake Woods, town of Flambeau.
So this one was in your packet. We did the preliminary plat at our meeting last month. And this would be the final plat that
Which is the same as the first one.
it relatively the same. There's a few minor tweaks. The surveyor, you're the surveyor, right?
I'm just representing Jack Akers.
You're representing
for
Jack. Okay.
Secluded
So
Land
he's
Company.
here to answer any questions you have on the final plat, but there was a few minor tweaks on it. They had to, I believe, square off one right-of-way corner on the final plat. And I think that was it. Sam Cockey, the county surveyor, did review it. And I know he talked to the surveyor about any minor tweaks. This one does need to go to the town of Flambeau as well. My understanding is they have a meeting tomorrow that's gonna go to be approved. So,
Are there any access roads planned for? Town roads or private roads?
they're not gonna build any private roads for this. All the access to each lot, as you can see, is along the town road on the
It's
north
okay,
side
so
and
it has as existing access via town road.
correct. Yeah, all the lots do.
Okay.
If you look at, I guess the Crane Lake Glen, that'd be the first one here, right? What Crane Lake Woods is the first one on there.
So
So-
the
If you look at the Crane Lake Woods plat, you can-
surveyor is in the room? No,
he's just a representative from Secluded Land.
okay.
So if you look at Crane Lake Woods, there's a lake road runs east-west along the north side to access lot 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then South Lake Road would be access to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and possibly 5. 5 is a corner lot that abuts both of those town roads.
So the intention is to sell off these lots for private buildings of whoever wants to buy it and put something on it? Is that what? Okay, do you intend to build any spec homes or anything like that? No spec home, just transfer the land to buyers.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, all the lots meet minimum lot size, the design standards meet the plat requirements. County surveyor reviewed it.
So as far as perk and all that kind of stuff, that's gonna be done when their application for a building permit occurs. you have no knowledge of something that the land would not perk or anything like that? No.
I don't know soils wise. I know there's a conventional right across the road. Statute 236 used to require a soil test prior to a plat. That's no longer required anymore.
Okay.
We did have soils test done preliminary.
Okay.
Nothing that will test throughout for an entire system on each lot. But we just offer that as our customers to show them what's there and to guarantee some level of buildability. So we did one soils test on each of the lot lines throughout the entire, I guess, both plats, and all of them came back as conventional and or mound systems.
Okay. So there's going to be no community systems. It'll be each individual lot will take care of itself.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
I did put it up on the screen. It's this one and the one to the right here are the two properties.
so that's woodland, and you don't intend to do any clearing or anything like that?
We ground about an 8-foot wide trail just to kind of the back of the lot lines as more of a walking trail. So that way you can see it as you're showing the piece, but we do not intend to do any clearing other than that.
Okay. All right, pretty straightforward. Looking for a motion to approve.
It'd be contingent on the town of Flambeau's approval.
Contingent on the,
The town of
Town of
Flambeau, the
Flambeau.
town of Flambeau needs to sign off on final plats. So our
okay, does that need to be part of our motion?
It should be, yeah.
Yeah, I'll make that motion, approve, contingent on the town approving the
Okay.
plat.
I'll second that.
Motion by Kopish, seconded by Erickson to approve. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved. Okay, agenda item number 14 is the final plat filed by Secluded Land Company LLC to create a county plat, Crane Lake Glen, town of Flambeau. And that was the last time I heard this, it was a similar, all the discussions were similar.
Yeah, this one's six lots instead of 10. Lot sizes are slightly different. They're larger, of course, because instead of doing 10 lots, they're doing 6 out of this 40. No issues with minimum lot sizes or frontage requirements or anything.
Okay, motion to approve.
Contingent on the town.
I'll make that motion to approve contingent on town approval.
Motion to approve by Kopish, seconded by,
I'll second it.
seconded by Jason Hastings. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, agenda item number 15, rescind ordinance. Number 511-2, authority and duties of land use and UW Extension Committee.
I'll make the motion to rescind.
I'll second it.
All right, we could have discussed first, but I'll just, yeah. Yeah, so what's happening here is with the Hennepin County versus Tyler Supreme Court finding, we have to reestablish an ordinance for the county to distribute tax deed properties.
Oh, okay, that's, no, I'm with that.
Right, we could have
What do
gave
we-
a little
what do we get
update
involved here?
prior to what happened, but we had a group of employees, I'm not calling it a committee or anything, but we had land, legal, clerk's office, treasurer's office, board chair, myself, and finance was all involved in a meeting to start to work on the updated ordinance because of that Hennepin County versus Tyler decision. And what we need to do, we determined that it was easier to redo a whole new ordinance than it is to
Rework it.
to try to rework this one. And then we have another ordinance, was it 420B, 402B? There's another one that executive will have to resend that covers some of this same process. So what we're recommending today is actually eliminating the land use committee from all of the activity when it comes to these sales and moving it all to the executive. And to do that, the other ordinance is 440, if anybody cares. In order to do that, we need to have a recommendation to rescind 511, the land sale chapter. And we're recommending the whole thing, even though there are a couple things that are not land sale related, but it was talking about if we took a land sale property and we wanted to clear it for forest it before we sell it, we're not going to do that anymore because of the way the new law would happen. So what we need today is a recommendation by this committee to rescind this, send it to the full board for a public hearing. So the rescinding will happen at the full board after a public hearing, but we need a recommendation. We'll also be doing this at executive for ordinance 440B. I think there's like a section of it that would also be recommended for rescinding. So there'd be another public hearing at the board full board meeting, and then executive will be reviewing an updated policy or ordinance on how we handle the land sale, and it'll outline what we do, what the fees are, everything. And so we'll have a third public hearing at that same board meeting. So we'll be rescinding 511, 440, and then we'll be implementing ordinance, whatever number they give us through codification. So we're getting rid of the old procedure to be compliant with the new law through that Hennepin County issue.
Okay, we do have a motion by Kopish, seconded by Erickson to rescind, and we've also had some explanation of it.
Should I reword my motion, or is it fine the way it is?
The motion is to rescind it, and the process
I
would
don't
be
have to
going.
recommend to rescind it and forward to the board.
You could say it that way if you're motioning to rescind
Mr.
it.
Chair, what do you want to do? Reword it?
Just
Clarify yours.
amend your motion to.
Okay,
send it
I'll
on to the
reword my
board.
motion to recommend rescinding this ordinance
Send
and
it on to
forwarding to the
executive.
board for
Yeah.
approval.
For the public hearing, yeah.
Go to the
We'll
executive
second that
committee,
also.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, public hearing, yep. To the board for public hearing.
And approval, or just for public hearing and approval?
Everybody clear? All right, we'll vote on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Opposed, same sign. Okay, we're good. Department reports.
So you get a copy of our permit report from 2024. Guess nothing out of the ordinary. If you compare it to 23, the permit numbers were down from 23. I don't really have an explanation on why permit numbers were down. I think fees collected were similar or even slightly up. I didn't see the end of the year 24 report, but overall still been fairly busy when compared to the past 5-6 years. Really, numbers are really representative of where we've been at. So.
Okay, we don't need any, do we need an emotion to approve these reports? No, okay. Any questions for Amanda, Evan? All right, we will stand adjourned for this portion of the land use meeting and work go into land conservation. That to order. The roll call would be the same. Is there any public comment? Anybody wish to make a public comment on land conservation? Anybody online? *6. Any communications from the committee? Okay, hearing none. We'll go into the agenda item number 20, 2024 wildlife damage claims. Oh, this is our new representative, right? You just got this job.
Yes, my name's Austin Dodge. I work with the USDA Wildlife Services. In your packets, there should be a piece of paper that just gives a quick overview of some of the work that I did in Price County. Yes. There was 16 enrollees this year for that program. 5 of which requested appraisals. And 4 of those met the deductible and exceeded that, so they would be getting a claim. Ended up appraising just short of 1,100 acres this year. And claims after deductible is about just short of $22,000. I have those claims with me that I'll need a signature for if the county approves.
One question for you on HLG would be the crop. What kind of crop is that?
Sorry, what was that?
HLG, the type of crop. What is that? The turkey's damaged?
That is just haylage.
Haylage,
Just wrapped haylage.
Ah, already in the bag. Gotcha.
So deer seems to be the predominant
Deer is the
culprit.
main one, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some bear damage. And then this year there was some turkey damage on some haylage. It was just a row of wrapped bales that turkeys walked down the top of it and broke the wrap on it.
What kind of damage could you expect from cranberries? Deer?
Who
Who knows, huh?
I don't know.
Okay, any questions? Committee members? You need a motion to approve this? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll need some signatures too.
Motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Erickson, seconded by
I'll second.
Jason Hastings. Any further discussion? Has this gone up or down from prior years?
The value went up this year, just because of the turkey damage that occurred to the 750 bales.
Turkey damage.
But enrollees were up this year as well. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
See that one turkey?
I see him,
That was a
yeah.
busy turkey.
$14,000. Okay, we have a motion to approve in a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I get the signatures on these right
You want
now?
me to sign it? Yeah.
There's 4 of them here.
Or, okay, I'm gonna be signing 4 pieces of paper here, right there. All right. January, and it's the what? 23rd. Thank you, sir.
So the turkeys broke the string in 750 round bales? Is that what? The turkeys?
Bales. The white wrap
Oh.
haylage bales.
Gotcha.
Okay, land conservation, unless I hear of anything else, land conservation is adjourned. And has everybody read the minutes of the November 21 meeting? Thank you, Amanda. Evan.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And we've got our meeting set for the next 2, so we don't have to,
You got clients for the next meeting?
we do have stuff for the next meeting.
Yeah, and like Evan mentioned, we have it scheduled for the whole year. And what other committees have kind of said is we'll always say yes to the next one. If we get about 2 weeks out, we'll let you know if there's nothing for the agenda. So we have all years scheduled for all committees.
Okay, I intend to be here because I was gonna leave for vacation, but I'm gonna be here I'll be back.
Well, I guess based on our last meeting, I was under the impression we were skipping February and going to March, but I thought that's what we had.
It works
discussed
for me.
at
It's
the
up to you.
last
It's up to
meeting.
you.
Well, the other committees have said to keep it on the schedule and then let them know right before. But if you guys want to decide today that
Yeah.
in order, because you guys have a little different because of your public hearings and
We had one public hearing, and based on our last meeting, we told them we would not have it February.
perfect.
And that's what I had told, I know that's what I had told Jack Akers too, because he had asked about getting the town approval first, and I said it'd have to wait till March, because at our last committee meeting, we had said we would do January, skip February and go to March.
So it's just the standing date you'd have.
As long as that's okay with Amber. I don't wanna step on toes.
So we're gonna cross out February 20th.
As of
And
today.
go to March
yeah.
20th, if that's okay. We need to skip our 2 meetings sometime, so.
Right.
We can get one out of the way.
And then
early.
we'll have one in April.
Probably.
Yes,
March
the
and April, I
April
would
one's
do.
already set. The date sounds like it's already set.
What's the date?
April 17th. Yeah. So second to last Thursday of the month would be April 17th.
Okay.
All right.
And Madam Clerk, what you could do is send out the notice for cancellation at any time.
I will do. Thank you.
Now, do we have vouchers?
I don't have any.
No vouchers?
Hold on, I'm getting a message.
I wasn't sent any, I don't believe.
We gotta get ourselves organized. So usually there's vouchers we sign.
Oh. Oh, yes.
So
Hang on.
also-
I'm sorry. I do have them.
Okay.
First meeting.
Aha. And
Sorry
the other
about
thing,
that.
Meredith, is there's usually financial reports. Are there financial reports available, Nick?
Should be.
Do you have those?
Evan, did you have your financial reports that you?
Normally they are in the packet. I did not see that.
Those would be preliminary for December, but
They'll be printed right now.
okay.
Those normally they just got.
By Carrie.
Okay.
They're being printed. Carrie for extension too.
She said, yep.
Huh?
We're dead air, so the vouchers are going around and they're working on them.
Okay, we'll just give a minute for these vouchers to go around, and then if there's any questions. See, that's item number 24, right? Yeah. All right, well, that's going around is agenda item number 23 is the minutes from the November 21, 2024 meeting. Everybody, that was in your packet. If you had a chance to read them, and looking for a motion to approve. For the minutes, yeah.
Make that motion.
Okay, motion by Kopish, seconded by,
I'll second it.
seconded by Doug to approve the minutes. We're moving along pretty fast here. Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
I have
Okay, the
some-
last, let's see,
I have some questions on the vouchers.
okay,
Maybe Amber,
get a-
Amber would have to answer, I
get a-
would assume, huh?
we'll get a motion to approve, and then you can ask your questions,
Or whatever. yeah.
whatever. What are your questions, Bob?
Well, there's just a couple items. I was just curious what they are. Because there's a quick print for $850 on flyers. Oh, that's you. Okay, that was for Clean Sweep? And then there's a 4-H online enrollment for $500. Are we enrolling in something or what?
So the enrollment system that we use, that's the fee that the state charges
For
for
the-
that
for the-
enrollment, like for the software.
Or, okay,
Yeah, so it's like
so
it's a
that's
charge
an,
across
that's
the
an annual
state.
thing?
What
Is
was
that an
that?
annual type thing?
It is an annual.
Okay,
And so it includes support for it, but also use of it.
okay, now this makes sense, because now that was land conservation, okay, and in zoning, now this might make a little more sense, because this is sanitation permit here, I was looking at the top. So that's for $1,000, there's a truck repairs for $980,
Those new tires.
tires.
The state sanitary is the $100 fee per sanitary permit that comes in, that goes to the state automatically.
And rent a flash for the
That's fire number signs.
fire numbers?
There was a
Okay.
lot of them in that one order.
And then legal notices, that's
That's
that?
the class 2 notice that goes in the paper for public hearings for.
Okay, all right. That's it, thank you.
Are we reimbursed for the clean sleep stuff or not?
No, that one, that's yeah, it's a land conservation item. It's a levy item, but that's not an in-out account. That one's-
It's like
that
we co-do it, because don't we, like,
Northwest Regional Planning gets a big grant for clean sweep. So I guess we pay for a lot of it, but we get it at a discount from what it actually would cost.
yeah, I think each county gets approximately 10 grand, and that really pays for like the truck and the actual disposal of the stuff. Our role each county's role is to advertise it, put the space available, have a staff member there to direct traffic, and
I think the budget item is $10,000 or $11,000 every year. It's been that amount since
Yeah.
it started
Okay.
here. It has cost the exact same amount.
Okay. Let's see, now the vouchers have gone around, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
No. Motion,
I'll make the motion to approve the vouchers.
okay, motion by Kopish. Seconded by Doug Erickson. He moved, I saw him.
I made a motion.
You,
Want the motion? You can have it.
you approve the motion or seconded the motion. Okay, any other questions on the vouchers? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So the next meeting date, the February 20th is canceled and March 20 would be this other one, the next one here. So let's see. We'll convene UW extension. That's on the back of the agenda. Roll call will be the same. And any public comments? Anybody in the room or online that would wish to speak to the UW extension? Any communications from the committee members?
I have one, Alan. Didn't the committee approve the contract between the county and the UW extension last year?
I don't know.
I guess what's the question? You guys approve?
In the minutes, it says you're finalizing it, I guess.
Yep. So you guys set a budget as a county. You guys set the number of employees through that, and then I sign off on the contract.
Okay. Because I had an issue with the contract last year and I still have an issue with the contract this year about the affirmative action.
Is that in the
You
contract?
want to elaborate on that affirmative
Yeah, like
action? That's a words about federal.
Affirmative action is a federal.
It is. And with the new administration, the feds are going to change things up with the colleges and the schools with the DEI stuff. And I just believe this affirmative action should be reworded. I do have something written up if you'd like to see it.
Okay, all right, thank you. The way I'm gonna handle that is that in public communications, you handed me this piece of paper. And thank you
Yes.
for that. Okay.
If they're going to keep the affirmative action, can we just add the highlighted to it?
Okay, now this language is already in the contract that's approved.
Right. We get a state contract from the university to sign.
So that's already this is already approved. So we could take this up during the next negotiations.
Rachel Hoffman said it was mandatory last year, but this year things are changing. So it's going to be mandatory to not.
Help me understand, Jason. Affirmative action's been in place for a long time.
Yeah, equal opportunity to
I mean, a long time.
Yeah.
And now the whole issue with the DEI is different.
It's,
Are you coming at it from that perspective?
Yeah,
Or are you going back at
absolutely.
the original affirmative action law that's been in place for
just, if you could,
as long as I can remember?
yeah, just read the highlighted section. It's changing the wording up a little bit.
Of affirmative action or DEI?
The affirmative action.
Okay. But that's a federal law, right? Affirmative action?
If I may,
That's what I'm saying. They're changing now
Mr. Chair, may I make a comment?
with the DEI stuff. It's, I mean, it's crossing lines into DEI with race and that's
I
what
think
I'm
they're
saying.
Different. Affirmative action is a long time ago.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
And
That's why I
Alan?
want to make sure where you're
can I
coming
make a
from.
comment?
absolutely.
I don't know the details, but I think there was some kind of an executive order within the last couple of days. That goes way back to something Johnson signed in the 60s. I don't know the details. It had to do with affirmative action. It was.
Okay, so there was an executive order on that?
Yeah, I don't know the details. I just know
We got to get
What
up
I-
to speed on that.
we have to get up to speed, but it has been somewhat addressed. I don't know the details.
I asked Rachel Hoffman the last time she was in this meeting about her judgments relative to hiring. She says, she told me in this room that she bases her judgments on merit. Not anything to do with deal.
That's
Correct.
DEI.
Right,
yeah.
then it
Yeah.
should.
No, and it's also affirmative action, and that's what they're addressing
Okay.
in the 30,000-foot view level. I mean, everything's supposed to be going back to or going to merit-based.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what Rachel told me here, that's what her judgments were, based on merit-based, which is, we can control local.
So Brian, do you think from a, instead of an individual committee thing, do you think we need to be doing this on a broader basis as far as the county is concerned?
Well, that's the other issue is that it's in the county handbook as well. So it'd be a.
We
some-
probably should look
Well,
at
I
it once
I mean,
we,
if we're going to do something, we probably should do it on a
Yeah.
broader basis than
Yep.
just on a committee
I
basis.
agree. I think we should, but let's let things shake out a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, yeah, there's
Just
a,
let things settle and find out what we got to deal with, and then we'll.
yeah,
look
the
at it.
highlight is for clarification and yeah, absolutely. So.
Yeah. Okay. That's,
Okay, thank
okay.
you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other communications from the committee? Hearing none. Agenda item number 3, extension educator highlight reports, 4-H educator. Good morning.
Good morning and Happy New Year. Haven't seen you guys in a little bit. So report here has quite a few different things on there. You'll see the first thing that's talked about is this fall forum that we went to, and I had 4-H youth, and which Bella Reberg was who it was, and went with me. And we were able to present on a STEM activity there that you've heard me talk about several times. And so that was just a great opportunity for her and for me to have a chance to interact with others on that. So really appreciated that opportunity. We're still working on trying to get an AmeriCorps. Originally, we were looking at a half-time position and trying to get it during the school year. This one we did not finalize, weren't able to find somebody to do that. So now we're looking for somebody for the summer, which I think may open some more opportunities. So if you have ideas of people that might do this, I mean, it could be a college student, a recently graduated high school student, could be a teacher looking for something extra for the summer, a retired person. There's all kinds of ways that we could do that. But what we want to be able to do is to expand our program more. The idea behind AmeriCorps is they have to reach out to new, different, and more audiences. And so that's what we're looking for there. You can see the details in there about the 450 hours over 15 weeks. Their language is a little different. It's not a stipend. It's not pay. They call it their living allowance. And then there's an education award. But we would really like to be able to get that going this summer. Our 4-H Leaders Association does a great job of raising funds and promoting activities and helping support our clubs throughout the year. So I work with them on a monthly basis. That's been really good. During the fall, did several different programs at Parks Falls School, the YMCA. Again, you'll see the 3 doodler pins there. We did an international craft and also then holiday snack, which we did deviled eggs. Let me just tell you, if you haven't ever made deviled eggs with kids, it's kind of a fun experience because some of those kids have never had deviled eggs before. And they're like, one kid's like, oh, yum, these are the best thing ever. And even the adults that we're working with were like, I hadn't really thought of doing this as a kind of a nutritional type activity, a holiday snack that has some nutritional value. This was really fun. So, and I will tell you, I learned from doing it multiple times. The first time I did it, I had 5 little boys. This was in Taylor County, and it took me 30 minutes to clean up the mess. The next time I knew I was doing it at Park Falls and was going to have like 25 kids there. So I figured out some ways to do it better. And then literally it took 10 minutes to clean up. So the education goes both ways. They learned something, I learned something too from this. So that was really interesting and fun. Moving on down, you can see about the 4-H project Saturdays. Becky Denzine just does a fabulous job with that. There's a group of kids that, there are several of them that come to all of them. And then there are different ones that pick and choose which ones they come to. And you can see some of the different things. They've made the gnomes. You can see the big group that's at the bottom. The bottom picture was that group that came to that. Then they made fleece blankets. They did decorating cookies. They made backpacks, little backpacks this last time. In February, they're doing floor pillows. They just do a number of different activities. Just to give you an idea of some of the other club activities that have gone on over the last few months, we had a club that collected food items for the food pantry, Christmas parties. Some of them went to Camp Forest Springs or were planning to go and then didn't have enough snow at the time to go. They've made and decorated cookies. We had a club that had a float in the Christmas parade here in Phillips. They've done bowling. So those are just a handful of the items that some of our clubs have done over the last few months. Upcoming and things that are in the planning right now, I'll do a YQCA training. It stands for Youth Quality Care for Animals. That's for the kids that are selling market animal things at the fair. And so it's a training. I will tell you, I walk in and I tell them, you guys know more about animals than I do. But it is a scripted program and I can read. So we go through that and that's worked out really nice. They have an online program that they can do that's age dependent, but several of our kids just prefer to come to the in-person. It's all ages. It works out really nicely. We have a Project Fun Day that we're working on scheduling in April 12th. We've done it down at Prentice for a number of years. The school there has been really good about working with us on that. We'll have a number of different volunteers. We're in the planning process on that, so you'll hear more about that. We're already working on planning summer camp, day camps, library programs, all of those types of things. That's what I've been up to. So, any questions?
Well, I would have some questions.
Sure.
Way back when I was in school, if people, what's the most important thing? They would say the 3 R's, and I don't know how they got this, but it was a reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Right.
I don't know how they got the R's associated with.
They just took the A off of the arithmetic.
And so I'll just tell you a little story. I was administering a safety test for forklift drivers. I had a group of people in the room, and I noticed that one person wasn't taking the test. And I says, why aren't you taking the test? He says, Mr. Barkstrom, I can't read. So I felt so bad. I felt worse for him than maybe he thought, because I called him out and so that person was struggling, and he was an older person. So when reading, to me, is one of the most important things there is. And you're getting these kids at a chance where I'm thinking that from 3rd grade, maybe to 5th or 6th, if you don't have the ability to read, then you're probably not going to do very well. And I see that your activity is now with STEM, with science, technology, engineering, and math, which is so important. And you're seeing these kids. Can you identify kids that are struggling with reading? Because if you don't get them by that time, probably they'll say, Mr. Barkstrom, I can't read.
So can I identify them? Sometimes yes, sometimes.
Help them.
Could I help them with
Well,
that?
can you? Because I think that there are the people or the organizations that are involved with teaching kids to read are parents, for one thing, schools, maybe the library, but maybe you also.
I will tell you quite honestly, that's not one I've really focused on lately because just, I guess because in the schools I've seen that the reading specialists that they have that they bring in and the teachers, and I just don't have enough time with them, nearly as much time as they do. Not saying that it's not a great idea.
Well, just to have your antennas up to understand that somebody is struggling, you can identify them because when they stand up to read in their 7th grade and they can't.
Right.
And if they stumble, you know, their comprehension isn't very good either.
Right.
Right. So, okay, I was just encouraging you to keep your eyes open for people that can't read.
Absolutely, because you're right. I'm a former high school teacher and oh yeah, it's
sad.
It is. It's tough if you can't read. Anything else?
Thank you. Very good report.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, I am, as usual at this time, in the schools a fair amount. So I finished up the 2nd graders in Prentice, and we do a lot of, as usual, which you've heard me talk about before, but just as a reminder, we do a lot of focusing on, with our nutrition, a lot of the focus is on fruits and vegetables because kids generally, Americans in general, are a little bit lower on their fruits and vegetables. And you've probably heard a lot more in the news about processed foods. We've always known processed foods maybe aren't the greatest, but I think there is a lot more information out there. And you're looking at, talking with the kids, looking at their diets. There is a lot of processed food in these kids, all of us, I'm sure, myself included, probably more than I should. But so we do focus on like where our food comes from a lot with the growing, how foods grow. You ask kids, where does your food come from? What did you eat today? And where did that, where does avocado come from? Well, the store. And then when you get them thinking backwards, well, how did it get to the store? So we do try to really get them to think about that and bring in tastes of different things, encourage them to try things by using their senses, not just, okay, I'm eating these chips as I'm watching TV. And it's pretty encouraging to see the kids get really excited about when you present it in a certain way, they do get excited about eating broccoli or, some of the different unprocessed fruits and vegetables. So that's our hope and our goal is to get them trying some of these healthier foods, thinking positively about the healthier foods and knowing how to access. I mean, depending on the age, when they're little, obviously they're eating a lot what is presented to them. But, we hope to expand on that when they get older a little bit about how to access some of this healthier food. And tying into that, last year we did work with the summer school kids in Park Falls. It was coordination between summer school and the YMCA. And we did our gardening program, which I talked about. And it was most of the summer that we worked in the gardens. We could have started a little earlier. It was kind of a little bit of an afterthought as I had rented one of the plots up there and thought, there were some empty plots and, these kids are here in the summer. Why wouldn't we incorporate them into this? So it was kind of a little bit of a late thought on my part. So this year we're going to try to start a little earlier. We're going to start with this after school program in Park Falls, getting the kids maybe learning how to plant and grow, starting some things before the gardens are ready to go and trying to work into the fall. Actually, the summer school ended and we still didn't have a lot of the produce wasn't ready to be harvested. And we didn't really have a way to gather those kids up then later and get them to do, the later produce. So I'm working with Amy Weinberger, who's the 2nd grade teacher in Park Falls, and she was in charge of the after school program, and she also has some connection with the Y. So we're trying to get this a little organized and try to have it a little bit more of a comprehensive program for the kids. And I'll be meeting with Jojo Baraka from the health department after this meeting and we have our Nutrition Coalition, our Wellness Coalition with the county, and trying to maybe tie in some other partners with that. And so we're kind of in the preliminary stages of that, but it has a lot of exciting possibilities because the kids were super excited about the gardening, which was really great to see too. So that, hopefully more on that to come. So, okay, sorry, I jumped around a little bit, but so I finished up the second grade in Prentice. I'm in the 4K classes there. I've done some there too. The kids are really great. And when I go in the classroom, you talked about reading, writing, and arithmetic being the most important things, but I have to differ with you. I go in the classroom and I say, okay, you learn a lot in school. You learn about reading, you learn about math, but what I'm going to tell you, because I'm, just coming in and they don't know who I am or what I'm about when I first come in. And I said, but what I'm going to tell you is more important than any of that. You're not going to have to take any tests, but what I have to say is way more important. So then I just kind of go into telling them, if you take care of your bodies and if you don't have a healthy body, none of this other stuff is important. And, where will you live if you don't have a good, healthy body? So just
Well,
a
with
little
the STEM
something.
program, you could work that in with maybe technology.
Yeah, right, true. Yes, right. Yep. With AI, who needs bodies or anything like that, right? So I'm also in the Phillips 4K. I'll be starting I'm scheduled in Park Falls for the classrooms coming up a little bit more in the spring, so I'm not in there right now. I concluded the Strong Bodies in Park Falls at the Charles Hill Villa with our participants there, and they were really excited to get it going again. They really didn't want to take any time off, but we did take off over the holidays, and we'll be starting again in February. And we do nutrition lessons with our participants there too. And they contribute too. People bring recipes, samples, ideas, everything. So it's good. Not only is the physical activity good, and there's a lot of research and evidence obviously behind it, but seeing these people just get out and the social, the mental health end of things, I think is really important. And some of them have even said that. They said, I wouldn't get out all week if I didn't come to this. So that part of it is good too. And I think even just some of them, the physical activity of getting to the class is part of it too. So that's about all I have.
Any questions for Wendy?
Nope.
No?
Okay, thanks.
Wendy. Let's see, reality fair discussion. Are we to that point? Did we miss anything here? No, I think 4-H educator, food-wise educator, reality fair discussion.
Yes, so the last meeting I was at, it was the first time I heard about it, that you were interested in trying to bring that back. And so I did reach out to Rachel to see where things were kind of at and what she was thinking. And then I also was working with our human development and relationships educator that does some financial coaching and financial programming over in Florence to kind of do a little research for me. So I did a little bit of work. Rachel is still super involved or super excited and interested. We talked about engaging both of the other school districts, and she's open to that. Some of her hesitation or concerns are around, she has new staff. She is a new principal at the high school. And so just really scheduling in an event like that just takes some extra. So we're still looking at possibly trying April. We may start just in Phillips this year to make it more manageable, kind of like bringing it back, getting things situated. As we're looking at curriculum, the other question that has come to mind, and Nick and I even had a conversation, I think when I think back to when we held it here when I was the 4-H educator, right? We had checkbooks and a little bit archaic. I mean, the reality is, we're talking about a reality fair, and the reality is that most of our young people will not probably write a check
Ever.
And so for some of us, that's like, how can that be? We should be teaching them, whether we want to or not. That is not the way we are moving when we think about technology and what's available, right? They just like put up their phone and they pay for it and ka-ching, it's gone. Like, oh, there it went.
Be educated on that.
Right. And so we do. So I think that's where I think as we look at the curriculum and what's available, it may not have kept up with where we're headed. So how do we adapt so that young people have the opportunity to really think about budgeting, think about when we're using this and it just kind of disappears or it comes in or however that works for them. They're still putting the time and thought so that we have good planners, right? So similar to the arithmetic and I mean, young people need this skill. Not a lot of time is being spent on it. And then also thinking about prioritizing. What are they saving for? And what does that look like? And what does that mean today? So these are discussions happening. I'm excited to be working with Rachel. And so hopefully we'll have something we can pilot in April.
Okay.
That's
it's
the
coming up
plan.
fast. It's coming.
I know. I know. So, but I am working within the constraints of the school district situation.
Okay.
But I'm going to keep working on it.
Historically, we had more than the one school involved, right?
We did. So
Okay.
we did it a couple
what I
of
thought.
different ways. One time we held 2 in a year. So like, so we did like the northern part, up in Park Falls, we had it. And then we did a second one here and had Prentice come. Another time we had all of the schools come together. And so I think the other piece is Rachel had talked about the juniors, I think, take a ACT test, which is statewide on a particular day. And so she thought if we could have the seniors do it that day. So, I mean, there's discussions happening. It's just about, like Alan said, the timing is really coming. So I think long-term, we'd love to have the entire county involved. Whether we have the capacity to do that this year, because that we have to get them on board, right? And so it's a little bit more complex, but we're working on it. I'm committed to it, but I also want it to be relevant, right? Like I don't want to bring in a bunch of kids and have them do something that they're like, I'm not ever gonna do that, like, because kids like see right through that, right? So I think that's where we're at. So, but I'm working on it.
Another point.
Yes.
And I'm
Point.
a little older,
Mm.
but I've adapted to some extent with the modern technology, and I don't write as many checks as I used to, but I go through my bank, set up payments and all that kind of stuff. But there are hazards with technology. And how do you use the technology, but you got to be careful what you're doing too. And what part of that will be incorporated as you move forward with the new technology stuff from a financial standpoint? What part will this responsibility and awareness or caution fit into the whole thing? Because there are a lot of people, this technology, you're not going to know what you're dealing with half the time. This AI scares the heck out of me, whether you're going to be dealing with real or not. I don't know where this is going, but anyway, but that's just my conservative nature, I think. So is that something that would be part of the program then?
I think that's
Sure,
really
do it on your thing, but you got to watch out for this careful, that kind of educationally.
right. And I think there are people doing some of that financial security so I think incorporating that in is a great idea. I hadn't, I'll be honest, I hadn't thought about that, but I have now put it down for us to consider.
Right.
The other piece, and this is just me coming not from your AED lens, but from an educator lens, a one-off 2-hour program is right. It might cause people to question or pause or think differently. But if what we're really hoping to do is change some behaviors or help people really incorporate in some different practices, we want to build something out and work with the schools. So it's not just like we invest all this time and resources, community support, and then it's like they that's the other thing we know. So in my mind, this is a start, right? Like anytime. And is there a way to really think about incorporating something a bit more that gives them some of these other pieces to really consider? And some of the schools may be doing it. I also think it's a gap just based on what I've seen. So
Going back,
thank you.
just to address Bob's question, there is a lot of, so for example, with this programming, it's not necessarily like teach them how to use their phone to pay. It's still the old, there's a lot of old things, traditional things you still need to reconcile, right? You still need to go look at your bank and say it. So for example, all the laws that are currently with banking really help the consumer or the individual and not so much the business. So say you, as long as you tell somebody, look every 60 days at your bank account, you have 60 days to dispute a charge. So if you do technology wrong, and you have 60 days, where a business has 24 hours. So for example, we've been recently had some issues, we'll talk about it executive, but we had a bunch of checks go through. And if we didn't report those to the bank within 24 hours, we're out that money. So there's a huge disparity where it's like, as a consumer, yeah, you should be aware of technology and how it works, but you have 60 days at least to be aware. And so going back to the tradition of, you still got to check your bank and should reconcile it to make sure those were all your Amazons or all your Targets or all your Quick Trips or whatever you're walking into. So that with the education, when Amber and I talked, it's still, there's a lot of the old or the traditional stuff you still got to know, but we had a good conversation about it. It is different, right? There's a lot coming. Your watch, you can pay with your watch. There's rings you can buy and put your credit card on, and you tap and you walk out, and you're not even carrying a wallet anymore.
There's a big difference between a credit card and a debit card.
Yeah.
I see people with debit cards. I don't see any register that they either have a lot of money so they don't get an overdraft.
Paying as you go.
Huh?
My daughter was sort of that back in her day.
Overdrafts. Yeah, with a $50 fee.
Debit card.
Wait till you get into Bitcoin and all that. Then
So I don't think we're going to tackle that. I'll just put that out there in the universe. I'm too old for that. So we're going to stick with.
That's coming.
I hear you.
That's coming.
I think I'm going to retire before that.
Okay, very good. You're working it.
I'm trying,
Yeah.
doing what I can.
All right, area, any other questions on that topic? No. All right, area extension director updates. I guess that'd be you.
That is me. So, Art retired in December at the beginning, and so you are stuck with me. I'm doing the best I can, and I am finding it's a large geographic area, and so I don't know if there are any concerns, but I just always also want to put that out there. If there is something I'm missing or something you want to see here in Price County, please don't ever hesitate. I'm as human as everyone, and so I don't know what I don't know. But if you're hearing concerns out in the community, I think please don't hesitate reaching out and calling.
You have an office here, right? That you're there sometimes?
I am probably not. I'll in full transparency, you have a really small staff, right? That you don't have any full-time staff here, and so this is probably, I would love to spend the most amount of time here, and I probably spend the least. So not because I don't want to, but because there are other counties that have opportunities that are far greater for me to.
A well-oiled machine here, so you don't
do.
need to sit
That
here.
is true too. I do think you have incredible educators who are really tuned in to the needs of the community. I think Danae is learning a lot and growing in her role. And so I think things are, there are other places that maybe require a little bit more of my time and energy, but someday I hope.
But as Alan pointed out, we did make space available for you.
There is, we have space for me to find a place to work.
There's somebody else that's using that office too.
And Bruce wanted to be here. Bruce will try to get to our next meeting. He is our horticulture specialist for the state.
Because we want to know him and tap him for stuff.
He is doing a phenomenal job. And I think we're just really fortunate to have him. So he is in that corner office and he does work, I think Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. He likes the space. He likes being here. But if you look at any of the surrounding, I don't know about the newspaper here, but you'll see articles on a regular basis that are lawn care related, but he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't come and give them a report. I was like, well, you don't actually report to them, but you're welcome. So we'll have him come and share some things the next time around.
Looking forward to it.
And just to clarify, that's not our local employee. That's a
state specialist,
a UW Extension state specialist that happens to be located here because they've
He's got
requested
free
the
office
use of the
space. We got to put him to work.
Yeah,
happened.
and he is super happy to be connected in the community. And you have access to it, right? You have an extension office, and so you have access to all of our specialists. So it's a win-win. And we have some more people and energy in the space to support our people.
All right, any other questions? So the last item on the agenda is the financial reports and vouchers. They're here. We don't have to approve them, just if you have any questions about them, that'll be the time to ask. So, all right, we stand adjourned. Thank you, people.
Say bye.